Hey guys, in this video we're going to be learning about significant figures. So if you haven't looked at the PowerPoint in the Unit 1 folder in the Chem Modeling folder on Google Drive, please look at that before watching this video because this video is just a quick review and will not be teaching the entire topic of SIG FIGs. So please look at that before watching this. So here are some quick rules to remember. So first, all non-zeros are SIG FIGs. Sandwich zeros are SIG FIGs. For example, for the number 304, that middle zero, highlighted here in red, is a significant figure. Rule number 3, trailing zeros used to round off a large number. So not non-decimal like zeros are not significant figures. For example, 34,000, these zeros here in red are not SIG FIGs. Trailing zeros used to add precision to a decimal are SIG FIGs. So, for example, 34.00, these last two zeros here are SIG FIGs because they're adding precision. Rule number 5, all leading zeros are not SIG FIGs. So, the number 00.34, those two zeros before it are not SIG FIGs because they're leading zeros. And the last rule, all intentional unnecessary decimal point is used to indicate all the numbers in a particular measurement are SIG FIGs. Next, so we have some quick rules for scientific notation, multiplication and division, and addition and subtraction. So for scientific notation, the x to the number part are not significant figures, so you only want to look at that front number. So for example, if it's 6.8 times 10 to the negative second, you only would look at the 6.8 part to find your significant figures. For multiplication and division, if you multiply or divide two numbers, the answer is rounded off to the number of SIG FIGs in the measurement with the least number of significant figures. So you're always looking for the least number of SIG FIGs to then round your answer off to. For addition and subtraction, the answer is rounded off to the same number of decimal places as the measurement with the least number of decimal places. So different from multiplication and subtraction, multiplication and division, addition and subtraction, you're looking for the least number of decimal places, not the least number of significant figures. So be careful with that. There's a difference between multiplication and division and addition and subtraction. So that is really important. So now let's try some practice problems. So state the number of SIG FIGs in each measurement. So pause the video here, try it on your own, and then play it again for the answers. Okay, so here are the answers. So for A, there are 4 significant figures because all non-zero numbers are significant figures, so that would make 2, 4, and 8 SIG FIGs, and then a sandwich 0 are also SIG FIGs, so that gets us 4. B, all non-zeros are SIG FIGs, so that gets us 3. C, there are only 4 SIG FIGs because leading zeros are not significant figures, so those 3 zeros right here are not SIG FIGs, and then 3 is a significant figure, and then this 0 is a sandwich 0, so it's a SIG FIG, and then 6 and 8 are SIG FIGs because they are non-zeros. And then in D, we have 2 SIG FIGs because with scientific notation, we only look at the leading number. We do not look at this 10 to the nth part. E, we have 2 SIG FIGs because they're non-zeros. And then F, we have 4 SIG FIGs because The 7 and the 5 are both sig figs because they're non-zeros, and then both zeros after the decimal place are sig figs because they're adding precision. So now we're going to do some harder sig fig practice problems. So let's get to that. So please solve and report with the appropriate number of sig fig digits. So be careful with these because there is some addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So use the sig fig rules we just learned to do these, and pause the video and then play them for the answers. So here are the answers. So for A, we have 26.3 centimeters for the answer. And this is the answer because remember, for addition, we report with the least amount of decimal places that there is in the problem. So the least amount of decimal places is 1 decimal place because 12.0 has 1 decimal place and so does 7.4. So then we report our answer to 1 decimal place. B, our answer is 0.5 grams because 7.8 has 1 decimal place, so that's our least amount, so then we report with 1 decimal place. C, our answer is 3.0 centimeters squared because with multiplication we report to the least amount of sig figs, and we have 4 sig figs here, and then we have 2 sig figs here, so our least amount would be 2, so that's what we reported our answer with. And then D, we report with the least amount of sig figs again for division, and our least amount in the problem is 5, so then we report our answer with 5. So I hope this video helped you understand significant figures, and once again, if you need more help, please go to the PowerPoint in the Unit 1 folder in the Chem Modeling folder on Google Drive.